Hey, welcome. My name is Shakita Davis, visionary of Women with Vision and Purpose, and welcome to Becoming the Woman of Your Dreams podcast. Our mission here is to help women all over the world, all nationalities, discover their core strength to carry out their vision in the entrepreneur world. And on tonight, we are in our last episode for Let's Talk Mental Health with our special guest, Connie Fredrick. Hey, Connie.
Hey, Shakita.
Hey, thank
Thank
you
you
for
so much
being
for
on
having
tonight.
me.
Absolutely, absolutely. How is your day going?
It's going. It's
How
going.
was your last 5 minutes before coming on live? Go. Yes, Marie.
Listen. When things are meant to be, nothing can stop it from happening. Okay,
That's
nothing.
right. That's right. Just thank you for being on. You know what? I'm super excited because this is our last episode for Becoming the One of Your Dream podcast
hmm
for this series.
hmm
So I'm like, yay. And no, I'm glad that you are our guest because I know this is your area and you love talking
Yes,
about mental health.
yes,
And
yes.
before I even go into everything, let me just share you all who Connie is. She is a Houstonian. She is the
hmm
founder of a nonprofit called Reinforcing Houston. Also, Connie has had the privilege of serving those battling with an array of mental health disorders, family, health, and life concerns. Also,
hmm
Connie experience includes working in an acute psychiatric intensive care facility, working with adolescents unable to deal. Connie, no, not doing it. We go end this recording, come back. I hate doing this like this. See,
Are you
because
gonna? Can you chop it up?
you know what? You know what? I can. But let me go back. Let me go back. You know what? I can. Good job. Let me go back to the banner. I'll put the
Okay.
timer back on again. That's my girl. Thank
Okay.
you. She said, can you chop it up?
Okay.
Because I start stuttering big time. Okay, let's go to the banner again.
Okay.
Hey, there we go. Welcome, you
Hi.
all. My name is Shakita Davis. Welcome to Becoming the Woman of Your Dream podcast, where our special guest on tonight is Connie Fredrick, where we're talking Let's Talk Mental Health. Oh my
Yes.
goodness, Connie, I am so happy and kind of can breathe because this is the last episode for our Let's Talk Mental Health. And just thank you for being our special guest on tonight.
You are very welcome, and I am extremely proud of you, Shakita. The fact that you would take something so important and break it down through the entire month and have such amazing guests on this month. Thank you. We need this.
Thank
We need this.
Yes,
So thank you.
absolutely. You know what? More than you need this, I needed this. I
hmm
had to
hmm
really take time and breathe and do a mental health check on myself and
Yeah, yeah.
being able to do this platform openly with everyone and the viewers
hmm
and our guests. It has just been life changing for me. So I'm super
Yeah,
excited.
yeah. Well, thank you
Yes.
so much for having me. I'm excited about our conversation tonight. I've been looking forward to this.
You know what? As I was sending your email, and I was like, the mad black woman. I was like, that is her
Mhm.
favorite topic. So I'm super excited to talk about
Mhm.
that. But before we get started, you all, Connie is a Houstonian, born and raised here out of Houston, Texas. She is the
Mhm.
owner, she is the founder of a nonprofit named Reinforcing Houston. And she also has had experience working with individuals who have an array of mental health disorders, family, health, and life concerns. Also, Connie experiences includes working in an acute psychiatric intensive care facility, working with
Mhm.
adolescents unable to deal and cope with life, and many other areas. So,
Yeah.
Connie, I know you have some experiences that you can share with us. And you know what, before we even go into it, and I put here, let's talk mental health with Connie Citizen. What is mental health?
So, my last name has changed since I got married. It was Connie Simpson, but it's not anymore.
Connie Fredrick.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Um, okay, so I'm sorry, ask me the question again. I got distracted. I got distracted.
Let's talk mental health with Connie Fredrick. Connie,
Yes.
share with us, what is mental health?
So, mental health, I like to put it into perspective using physical health. Because when we say physical health, it seems like people just get that, right? People think of like taking care of your body, going to the gym, going to the doctor, taking whatever medicines might be prescribed to you, not eating a whole bunch of bad stuff, trying to eat more good stuff. It seems like people just seem to conceptualize that a lot easier. Um, but when we say mental health, people are like, I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy. And it's so far beyond that and incorporates so much more than that. If I were to say physical health, it doesn't automatically assume that you're sick. It's just talking about the component of yourself that involves your physical being. So when we say mental health, it's not an assumption that something's wrong with you or
Mm.
whatever the case might be. We're literally just talking about the portion of you that involves your mental state, your emotional state, your thoughts, your emotions, in the inner things that drive you to be who you are. So when we say mental health, it is not the assumption that only people with psychiatric disorders have a mental health. Everyone has mental health. Some people's
Mhm.
mental health are
Absolutely.
just healthier than others. The same way some people's physical health are just healthier than others. We all have a mental health, we all have a mental state, and it's just that portion of you that incorporates your mental and emotional side.
Well, whoop, there you go. There you have it. Yes. You, you know, and it's true. And it says, health. Is your mental health
Yeah,
healthy or not
yeah,
healthy? You know
yes,
what? And
absolutely.
our mental controls everything that we do. If we think it,
Mhm.
we go there. If we want to do something, we do it. If we don't want to do anything, we don't do it. So your
Mhm,
mind
mhm.
controls your body, you know?
Yes,
So,
yes.
Gotti, you know what? I'm just like, I'm excited. So I'm trying to break it down just a little bit. I'm
Let's
excited because
do
I
it.
know
Let's do it,
this is
Shakita.
going to be a great conversation.
I'm
It's
ready.
going to be a great
Wherever you want to
conversation.
go, let's go. Let's
Let's
go.
let's go. She said, take off the script. So here we go.
Yes,
So
let's
Connie,
go.
tell us about your journey in developing your nonprofit, Reinforcing Houston, where you are empowering and supporting underserved communities.
Reinforcing Houston is my baby. So Reinforcing Houston came at a time where I was trying to figure me out, right? I'm trying to get myself together. I'm trying to get back on my feet after a really like rough patch in my life. And I was listening to this sermon actually from Pastor Cheryl Brady. She's amazing. And I went to this women's conference maybe in 2014 or 15, and I'm listening to the sermon, and she references scripture Luke 22:32, where Simon Peter, or Jesus is talking to Simon Peter, and he gives Simon Peter the instructions. Once you have gotten to a place where you are stable and you are okay and you have kind of made it to where you can plant your feet firmly on the ground, you have a responsibility to go back and to strengthen your brothers. You have a responsibility to go back and not forget where you came from. And in one version of the scripture, it uses the term, once you've kind of made it to where you are and you're in a good spot, go back and reinforce your brothers and sisters. The moment I heard that, it's like my soul leapt, like my spirit like leapt, and I'm just like, that's it.
Wow.
We're reinforcing Houston, and reinforcing literally means to strengthen, to support, to uphold. And my thought was, there are people in my city that I'm from that I love so much that need to be reinforced and held up and supported. So I'm like, if whatever I've learned over these years, whatever I've been able to glean and to take, and I feel like I have a not just a responsibility, but a purpose and a calling to go back and to sow that into people who are still needing support to get to where they're trying to go. So reinforcing Houston was born really for that purpose, for us to have an opportunity to be able to go back and sow and pour into other people. And here's reinforcing Houston.
Yes, that is amazing. And thank you for one, answering the call, knew what needs to be done, and not, being afraid to shy away from this area. And I'm listening to you as you spoke about how you weren't in a good place when you
Mm-hmm.
started reinforcing. And the
Yeah.
same here with Women with Vision and Purpose. I was not in a good place when I started
Wow.
this, and I was facing depression in a
Mm-hmm.
relationship,
Mm-hmm.
just all kind of hectic stuff.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
God spoke to me, and He gave me this, and He was like, "I need you to go do this for you and for other women."
Yeah.
So kudos to us who decided to answer the call and do what needed to be done for ourselves and for the individuals around us.
Well, from one visionary to another visionary, I know firsthand, Shakita, that it is a scary place to be. It is an uncertain place to be. It is a place where you're like, God, I have no point of reference. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just taking the vision that you've given me, the faith that you've given me, and the courage that you've given me to pursue something and to blaze this trail that I've never seen happen before. But when you
I,
mix that courage plus that faith plus that vision, amazing things happen. He has his hand on you time, the entire time. And
yes,
I'm
you're
sure you know
absolutely
that
correct.
firsthand.
Yes, absolutely. Because it's times to where I'm like, God, are you really doing this? Like, I have to pinch myself. Like, is this really happening? Like, it's
Uh,
happening. I'm doing
it
it
is
through you,
happening.
and I got you. Period. Point blank.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. God is good, ain't he?
So next time, yes, he is. All right, now we're about to have church in here. Ain't
I
he
know,
all
I
right?
know, I know. Okay, okay.
Yes. So, Connie, let us know, how do you continue to learn and grow in your field and stay up to date with the latest research and techniques?
So I am really big on making sure that I always stay a student. Although I'm not in school anymore, and I've graduated and I'm past that part, but there's always something to learn. And I stay open, I stay receptive, I stay humble to recognize that I don't know everything. As a matter of fact, my patients teach me stuff all the time. And I'm like, what? Really? Where like where can I look that up at? And so just being aware, being open to learn. When you are open and willing to learn, the information will come. And the information is there and it's available. Plus, also staying connected with like local social work associations and committees, and there's all kind of like conferences and continuing education units, and when you keep your eyes open for opportunities to learn, I'm telling you, it's out there because things are happening every single day. There's different modalities popping up. There's different certifications happening. You know what I mean? Like there's different classes happening. There's different theories popping up. And so just taking it all in and recognizing that, just because things have always been done a certain way doesn't mean that they have to continue to be that way. And sometimes it is okay to adjust your methods and adjust your ways to adopting, new and creative ways of getting things done. So I just stay open and humble. I'm a student always.
Yes, you know what? And I think COVID has taught the world that how
Mhm.
we are very innovative human
Yeah.
beings,
Oh,
and
for sure.
how things can be done in a different way.
Hmm.
And look at us now, as when I think of a podcast, I felt like I didn't start the podcast when I was supposed to, because one,
Hmm.
I'm gonna be honest, one,
Hmm.
because of finances,
Mm-hmm.
Two, I felt like I had to have the person right here next to me, like a talk show. And then I was on the show with Kicking It with V, and I saw how
Mm-hmm.
she had her set up. And I kid you not, that next week, God was like, "This is what I need you to do." And I was like, "Okay, I'm going to do it." And Becoming the Woman of Your Dream podcast was spoken out of my mouth over a year and a half ago. And
Wow.
we just got started
Wow.
this March.
Wow.
So I know this is all God, and I know
Absolutely.
He has His hands on it.
He absolutely does. But also, Shakita, I want to make sure that you're giving yourself credit too for being obedient to what God has called you to do. Because God has placed visions and dreams into a lot of people who are too scared to move and who are too scared to move their feet. But we know the God that we serve, you know what I mean? Like he will be glorified, even if a rock has to cry out, he's gonna get his
Absolutely.
glory. But
Yes.
when he gave you that vision, you were courageous and faithful and obedient enough to, I mean, to do what God placed in you to do. Even if you had to do it scared, even if you had to do it uncertain, you did it.
All of those
You
things.
were a faithful vessel and you did it. And look at God blessing you.
Yes, all of those things. You know what? I'm just so happy. And Connie, I did not bring tissue tonight, okay? So don't start. I didn't bring any tissue with me tonight, so don't you start, okay?
God, I mean,
Yes.
it's
So
all for his glory. It really is. It is all for his glory. It
it
really
is,
is.
and you know what? And my coach, she always like, Shakita, just be yourself. Be
Hmm.
yourself. Let people see you for who you are. And that is kind of not hard for me, but in a sense, a little, because it's like, oh my gosh, I have to act this way. I have to say these things. I have to be like this. But you know what? Now I don't care. I'm doing, I'm doing what he told me to do, because you know what? I have to answer to him. And again, he gave me the vision. So it's just like you said, being confident and knowing, and I
Yes.
know. And then just
Yes.
connecting with like minded individuals has been a
Mhm,
blessing,
mhm.
because you all have made, and I want to say the burden, you all have made this vision so easy to carry. Like I
Wow.
cannot even
Wow.
say thank you enough to all the women who have been on the platform, who has helped me from the very beginning. And
Mhm,
there's been
mhm,
plenty of women that has helped me once when we started in my mother's living room. So
mhm,
I'm just
mhm.
like, you know what? I appreciate all the support. You all have just made the vision easy to carry, because I know it's something that God has in me to give to the world. But we're not gonna go there. We're about to go into this next subject. Y'all, when Connie and
Let
I, when
me
I
share
asked
with
Connie,
you, Shakira. Let me share with
when, I can't, Connie, I cannot with you. Yo, when I asked Connie to come on to the podcast, she was like, yes,
you.
when and where. And I was
Mhm.
like, May, for Let's Talk Mental Health. And she was like, my favorite subject is to talk about Black women in
Yes,
regards to their mental health.
yes, yes.
And I did some
Mhm,
research. And you know what? I really want to dive into, quotation marks, the mad Black woman. And why do you feel that Black women are labeled the mad Black woman? Because they deal with anxiety, they deal with stress, they deal with anger. But
mhm,
what Black women are placed in a category of being the mad Black woman when there's a mental concern. So I
mhm,
will
mhm.
let the expert take it away, and you can have the floor and explain this to us.
So, the Mad Black Woman really is a title that's used as a stereotype anytime a Black woman wants to show some form of emotion. When a Black woman has an emotion, whether that be of frustration, of disappointment, of sadness, of anger, even, it's that mad Black woman. And honestly, I think it stems from the fact that for so long we were supposed to have our eyes down, our eyes averted down and our head down, and just to endure. We just be quiet and just take it. And at some point, somewhere, Black women decided to start speaking up. For so long, we had to endure quietly. And can you imagine how much emotion was building and building and building and building until somewhere, some beautiful Black woman somewhere said, you know what? I got something to say.
Thank
And
God.
so now with our culture, our mannerisms, our language, our volume, our body language, people are oftentimes intimidated by those things. They fear what they don't understand. They don't understand why is she so passionate? Why is she's speaking up now with so much energy and so much vibrance, and she's speaking up with so much confidence? Like what is this? There's this notion of like, you're too much. They would like us to believe like the way you are behaving or the way you are expressing yourself, it's too much. You're making other people uncomfortable. So you need to tone it down. You're too much. Well, how about you're not enough? How about that? How about, not that I'm not too much. How about you're not enough? Okay. So that adage of the mad Black woman really is just a stereotype to keep Black women from being able to feel comfortable expressing themselves. Black women are allowed to have emotion. You are allowed to have emotion. It is okay for you to feel. You are allowed to feel all the things. Feel it all. Feel it big.
Right.
Feel it grand. There is no need there's no reason for you to keep your feelings under wraps out of concern of how you may be perceived. Feel what you feel and feel it deeply. That is okay. So that mad Black woman, it's not my responsibility. It's not our responsibility as Black women to make the people around us comfortable. It's not our responsibility. It's not our responsibility to coddle the people around us. It's not our responsibility to tiptoe. To tiptoe. We have as much right to be in the room as anyone else. We have as much right to sit at that table as anyone else. And personally, I prescribe to getting my own table. I'm not trying to sit at nobody's table who's just tolerating me and don't really accept me. I'd rather have my own. But I'm just saying.
Connie, don't get me started.
I'm just saying, Shakira,
Hey, you know
I'm
what? Wait, I gotta stop right there and insert because women alone, have a hard time engaging, have a hard time getting along, have a hard time of who does she think she is, where does she come from? Women have a hard time with that, and it's true. If you're not accepted at a place that you feel like you should be or want to be, baby, go create your own table. Hello?
Come on.
And don't be afraid to sit and eat alone.
Okay, I'm bringing my own chair, table. I got my fork and my spoon. Like, what are we doing?
Yes. Yes, and that's okay because guess what? When God, see, Connie, there you go. Honestly, because when you sit and prepare the table that God has for you, which He will prepare your table for you, the people that are supposed to be around you,
yes, Shakira,
will be seated at your table.
Yes, Shakira.
Girl, she said, yes, Shakira. Yes, but that's it. I had to say that because I'm a firm believer. Like, I feel like I had to go do that because I was trying to fit into this crowd, fit into that crowd, and it wasn't right. I wasn't being myself. So where God gave me the confidence and said, hey, I'm going to give you this. Go build this.
Yes.
And I did just that.
Yeah. Because honestly, there is, and it's not arrogance at all. There is a certain level of self-awareness and confidence. And I think that self-awareness comes from what you're anchored to. And it comes from where are you getting your identity from? Who told you, that you are more than a conqueror? Who told you that you're the head and not to tell? So I think it's not arrogance. It really is a confidence in knowing who you are anchored and connected to that gives you the ability to go, you know what? I'm not gonna sit under your table and beg for scraps. I'm gonna go build my own. I'm going to go create my own. I'm going to go make my own. And so actually that is a lot of the work that I do with the Black, a large portion of my caseload is Black women. And the conversation that we're having now, this is what my therapy sessions sound like. I'm very, very real in therapy with my clients, especially Black women, because I feel like I am invested in your well-being. Because when you win, I win, and when I win, you win. Like, we're all connected to each other. So I know a lot of times people have the stigma of like, what is therapy like and what is therapy about? And so you think you're going to walk into a therapy room and there's going to be some, I don't know, some person, like librarian looking person with, and oftentimes it is. But in my session, we're gonna get down to the nitty gritty. We getting down to the nitty gritty because I'm like, sis, I'm here for you to win. Like, what can I do? At this point, I am a servant to be able to help usher you into what your healing looks like. How can I do that? How can I help you? How can I support you? What do we need to do? And so the conversation oftentimes comes to just knowing who you are. So many of us don't know who we are. So we're just kind of flapping in the wind, trying to grasp anything and anybody in any situation that would give us some sense and some semblance of identity and of love and of all these other things that we may not have within ourselves. So we just out here grasping, looking for something to ground us and to put our
attach ourselves to things that we shouldn't attach ourselves to,
Yes.
And you said knowing who we are, but whose we are is the key factor as well. Yes, girl. So when you understand that, I'm telling you, like, not saying that life will be easy or you won't have trials, but life is better with God.
You
Life
have
is
a
better with
firm foundation. When you know whose you are, what's that song say? The winds may blow, okay? You may sway from side to side, your house might rock back and forth, the glass in the windows might break, but guess what? That foundation ain't going nowhere. That foundation is not moving at all. It's not budging, it's not wavering at all. When you know whose you are and you are anchored to it, the winds might blow, the trouble might come, but that foundation ain't moving.
Now you want me to start singing Whitney Houston. Whitney Houston, before she passed, first of all, she was one of the individuals that when I say boo-hooed, I boo-hooed crying.
Don't get me started on Ain't Nippy. Okay, Ain't Nippy. Okay, that's my auntie in my mind. Ain't Nippy. Don't do it, Shakita. Don't do it. I didn't bring tissues either. Okay, but don't do that. Let's change the subject. Don't do that. I'm not ready. Not Ain't Nippy. Not Ain't Nippy. That's
okay.
She's
I'll let it go. I'll let it go. So, Connie, how do you take care of yourself and maintain your own well-being while supporting others in their healing journey?
Wow, that is a great question. So I actually met with my therapist today. That's one of the ways that I take care of myself. So I have a therapist. And oftentimes, what I recently realized is that, so my job is to create a safe space for people to be able to unpack whatever it is that they're carrying. So my job is to create a safe space. But, I was talking to my therapist and I'm like, sometimes I'm so conflicted because I'm over here creating a safe space, even at times when I myself don't feel safe. So there's such a conundrum that happens because I'm here supporting other people when at times I'm the one that needs support too. And people are like, well, you're a therapist. You got all the tips and the tricks and you should know what to do. And you know how to handle this. But the thing is, even being a therapist and being a mental health provider does not exclude you from having human experiences. It does not exclude you from feeling human emotions. So it is important, probably even more so for therapists and mental health providers, to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves. Another thing that I do is I go to the gym. And only a portion of it is for the physical piece of working out. It's really being in the gym. It's an emotional release for me. And I always say Jesus meets me on the treadmill. Whatever I might be struggling with, when I get on that treadmill, it's like I get so much clarity. Like it's like my mind starts opening up. God gives me, he answers questions. He enlarges my vision. If there's a part of a vision that I'm like, okay, God, I feel like this part of the vision isn't really clear. I need you to explain this to me. I need you to talk to me. I'm having issues with this, or I'm having issues with that. I don't know how to handle this situation. It's something about being in that gym that I just like, I get the clarity, I get the support, I walk out feeling refreshed and better and good. So going to the gym, definitely, I got to get in there. And I usually try to go first thing in the morning because it helps to give me energy to get through. I have really, really long days sometimes. So it helps to give me energy to get through the day. I see my therapist, I journal. I have a prayer journal as well. I got to talk to God every day. First and foremost, gotta stay anchored. Also, staying in community. Like you mentioned earlier, being in community with like-minded people. We are not meant to do life alone. It does not behoove us to try to bury ourselves in isolation and think we can get through this alone. We cannot. We can't. And likely for those folks who do that, there's typically a trauma response tied to that. But that's a different conversation. That isolation is hyper independent. That's for the birds. We're not doing that no more. It's about sisterhood. It's about community. It's about being able to link arms and collaborate and work together and get through this thing. Because life is hard. Life is hard. I'm not too proud to say it is hard.
It really is. Yeah. And it really is. But you know what? We are conquerors, and it goes back to who are we anchored in. I mean, I gotta testify honestly, because this whole month of May has been very awakening for me in such a way of getting closer to God, being alert about certain things, being aware of myself. Like a lot of things that I've been suppressing or not dealing with, it's been oozing out this month. But it's a good thing because now I'm aware and I'm making the conscious decision to deal with these things and seek help. So I'm just glad that it's good to know that the council needs counseling.
Yes.
That you have an outlet because you are human. Life doesn't skip you because you're helping other people with their mental health.
No, sure doesn't. I can testify to that.
You don't get a pass,
You don't, no.
So that's good. That's good. So I want to go into this, and I feel like we're maybe cutting a little close to the end. I'm not ready to end yet. Okay. So I do want you to share. What do I want you to share, Connie? Actually, what is a technique? So on the first podcast of this series that I did with Dr. Shamaya Hutchins, she gave us a tip on how to do a trigger technique. It's like if you're feeling triggered, she gave us a concept of the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah. Oh, I love that one. I love it.
Do you have a technique that you would like to share with us when someone is triggered? What would be your favorite technique that you would like to share?
Which one do I like? That 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's one of my go-tos. So let me think of another one. I also like what's called reframing. So reframing is a technique where essentially, I guess to simplify, you change your mind. You make a conscious decision to view it differently. And one of the main ways in which we use reframing is especially with folks struggling with anxiety. Right. So the basis of anxiety is fear. So anytime we are dealing with anxiety, that means you're afraid of something. But if we were to break that thing down even just a little bit further than that and pull some layers back, 9 times out of 10, when people are struggling with anxiety, they're in 2 places. They're either focused on the past and they're ruminating on what they didn't do, what they could have did better. Why did they do this? They're just going over and over and over. And there's this guilt and shame all tied in there, focused on things from the past. Or the other place they likely are is in the future. They are worried and concerned about all this, possiblies, maybe, could be, shoulda, coulda, wouldas of what may happen in the future. Now, one thing about both of these places is that the past and the future, you can't do nothing about. It is outside of your control. And so with folks dealing with anxiety, they are focused on things that are outside of their control to the degree that they're allowing the emotions to overwhelm them, which then leads to actual physical symptoms. Right? We have the racing heart, we have the sweating hands, we have the upset stomach, we have the narrowed vision, we have the nausea, we have the headaches, we have all the things that are happening through our anxiety because we are focused on either the past or the future. But the only thing we can control is the present. And so part of the grounding that's done in the mindfulness, so the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 is part of the mindfulness one of the mindfulness grounding techniques. And the purpose of that, whether it be reframing the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 muscle relaxation, the progressive, where you go down the body. And this is another technique where if you're having anxiety or you're struggling with something, you plant your feet firmly on the ground, put your knees at a 90-degree angle, allow your hands to rest comfortably wherever may be comfortable for you. And you start focusing on individual parts of your body. You might focus on your head. You start focusing on your ears. You focus on your forehead. You focus on your nose. Think about your cheeks. Focus on your lips. Focus on your chin. Think about your neck. And you just work your way body part by body part all the way down your body. And what we're doing is we are grounding ourselves and making ourselves present in the moment, because it's really hard to focus on the past or be stuck into the future that hasn't happened yet when you're thinking about my nose, my ears, my fingers, my legs, my back. All of those things are happening right now. When we do that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 technique, we're looking for what's in front of us right now. When we reframe, we're thinking about, okay, what do I have control over right now? The biggest thing about regulating your emotions is getting out of the past. Don't race yet into the future, but ground yourself and recognize, what do I have control over right now? I have control over the fact that I'm sitting in this chair. I have control over the fact of the words coming out of my mouth. I have control over the fact that I'm having this conversation with you. I have control of my arms. What do we have control over right now, right here in this space? And so working with patients to help them be present in the moment, because we're thinking about the meeting next week. We're thinking about the finances of next month. We're thinking about, how the relationship is going to turn out. We're thinking about, if the world is going to end, is the sun going to explode? We're thinking about what natural disaster is about to happen. All of those things
that we don't have
control over. And if we were to flip this spiritually just for a second, I feel that a large part of the reason why we struggle with, trying to grasp control is because we're trying to do God's job. Right. So if we look at this from a spiritual perspective, it is God's position and God's job to have all these things lined out. He has such an infinite way of, an infinite thought process and an infinite brain. We're using our little finite brain to try to do an infinite job. So can you imagine the stress you put on your little bitty brain trying to be God, trying to know what's coming in the future, trying to know how is it going to play out, trying to know, is it going to turn out good, trying to know, are they going to do me wrong, trying to know, how am I going to pay this? That's not your job. Like, you are outside of your pay range. That's above your pay scale. So when I'm doing, so from a clinical perspective, right? Clinically, we need to get you back in the present so you can ground yourself and know, maybe we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, but right here at this time on this date, I'm okay. And even feeling yourself, putting your hand on your chest and just reminding yourself, listening to your heartbeat. Again, something else is happening in the present moment. All of these techniques are for the purpose of getting you grounded in this moment right now. Spiritually speaking, you got to let God be God. Move out the way and let him be God. Because when you can rest in knowing that he has your whole life in his hands and he is a good father, I ain't worried about next week. I ain't worried about next month. He already got that wrote out. Like, why in the world would I worry about? It's like watching a movie and you want to stop halfway through the movie and you worry about how the movie gonna end. Well, press play and let it play out. You know what I mean?
Okay, Connie.
Okay. You want to stop the movie halfway through.
You know what? That was a good analogy. That was a good analogy because you know what? Sometimes and that's true in life, we will press pause. We will try to press rewind and then we will fast forward, try to hurry. You know what? Press play. Just press play and let it.
And just let it play out.
That's it. I love it. I love it. I love it. That was my nugget for the night. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I need that. Press play. And don't be surprised if you see that on a t-shirt now.
No, you good. You got it. You got it.
Yes. No, that was good. No, thank you for sharing that. So I hope that was very helpful to whoever is watching. So next, Connie, we're almost going into closing. So I do want you to share this. What would you say to the Black woman who is having a hard time dealing with their mental health?
So, man, and it's so interesting. I like this question. I think this is probably my favorite question thus far because all this week, Shakita, I've had Black woman after Black woman after Black woman after Black woman coming to me telling me she's tired, just tired. And it's not even necessarily a physical tired. I think it's deeper than that. When she says she's tired, it's not. The tired that she's talking about is like a deep soul spirit tired. She's tired in her spirit. And so what I would say is that it is so important to recognize that the reason why we're tired, and it's not for all Black women, but for a large majority, what I'm seeing is the Black women don't have a safe space. Right? There's that I gotta be everything to everybody and I gotta get it done. If I don't get it done, it's not gonna get done. Like the world is on my shoulders and I know I have to be the one to do it. It's almost as if I'm seeing a trend for Black women who just don't have an opportunity to let that guard down. Their guards are so high because they've been hurt so much. And so often they have to protect themselves. That guard literally is protecting their life. They feel that it is. So I have to have the guard up, right? I can't let anybody in. I can't show vulnerability because vulnerability equates to weakness is this thought process. I have to this hyper independence. I can't trust anybody. I have to get it on my own. And so what I tell my patients is that this idea of, having this guard up, let's equate that to you carrying like 100-pound backpack, 100 pounds, 200 pounds, you might, whatever the case is, whatever is heavy for you. Let's equate that to you carrying this 100-pound backpack and you never take it off. You sleep with it on, you shower with it on, you go to work with it on, you go out with it on, you go see family with it on, you take care of your kids with it on. You never take off this backpack. For years, you were carrying around the weight of the fear of letting that guard down and actually feeling like you're safe enough to be covered and to be protected by someone else other than yourself. Can you imagine how tired you would be if you carried that backpack for years and years and years and never took it off as a result of you trying to protect yourself from past trauma and harm? You're exhausted. You are exhausted. And so it's important for us to start learning how to heal and getting into those healing spaces so that we can learn how to feel safe enough to take off that backpack. And when you take it off, it's such a liberating, oh man, it's like your eyes are open for the first time ever. When you can take off the weight of that trauma when you can take off the weight of believing that you're not good enough, and you take off the weight of believing you can't do it, and you take off the weight of believing that nobody's ever going to love you or be there for you, when you can finally get to a place where you take that off and you embrace the love that's around you, and you start putting yourself in healthier environments of around people who have the capacity to love you well. Oh my gosh.
That's a good life.
That's a good life. And for a lot of people, they don't feel like they can have it. They feel like, oh, that's other people have that type of life, not me. I've come, my background is too bad. I can't have it. You can't have it. Like,
Yes,
healing is yours. Goodness is yours. Like happiness is yours. Joy is yours. Peace is yours. It is yours to have. You just have to believe that you can have it. You can have it.
That's right. As I was listening to you speak, there was two scenarios that came to my mind. One was some years ago, I was at one of my old churches, and I went to the altar for prayer. And I went to the altar, and I had Cassie's. I don't know. I wasn't thinking. Clearly, I wasn't thinking. I had Cassidy in one hand. I had my purse in the other hand. I had the diaper bag in the other hand. And I went to the altar. And when the first lady got to me, she was like, "Take off all these bags." She said, "That's why you tired. That's why you heavy. You carrying too much." And I'm like, and I didn't know it at that moment that I was doing that, because I was so used to doing that.
Yeah.
And even recently, I did a workout session with my former mentor, and we were working out. And she was like, "Shakita, is the weights heavy?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it is. It's getting heavy." She said, "Drop it." I'm like, "Just drop it?" She said, "If the weights are heavy, drop them." And the analogy of that was just like a smack in the face, because she was like, "If it's heavy, you drop it." And that still sticks with me, because you know what? If it gets too heavy for me, I drop it.
You know what the question that pops up for me is, who told you had to carry it?
Come on. Myself and my own strength. Come on.
You know what I mean? Like, if it's heavy, the natural reaction is to drop it. Who told you that even if it's heavy, you got to keep carrying it?
Say it again, girl.
You know, where
Yes.
where that belief come from? That almost as if it's like a badge of honor to be able to say, "I'm carrying this heavy stuff." Well, I don't want no badges. Don't honor me. I don't want. I'm dropping anything that's heavy. Got to go. It got to go.
Yes. And I was just like, and listen to you say that just brought me back to how much I've seen that I've matured and growing, and like realizing, you know what, you don't have to carry this.
No.
You don't have to carry it at all. Yes, you be there for your sister and brother, but you don't have to carry this. If it's And even on the airplane, what do they tell us to do first? Secure
Your
your
own
own
life.
oxygen mask
It is
first.
okay to choose you. It is okay. You are valuable enough. You are important enough. You are a priority. You can come first. You should come first. You should choose you. Choose
Yes,
you every
yes.
time. Choose you. Bet on you.
Hello. Look, there's this lady that I just got into contact with, and her name is Latricia Jeffries. She is in Ohio, and the
Uh-huh.
name of her business is called Me First.
Come on.
Girl, and it speaks so much
Mm.
volume. And as I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
about it, and I was like, man, God did something with that for her. Me
yeah,
first.
yeah.
And she'll be on the podcast too.
Unapologetically.
Say it again.
Oh yeah. I said, yeah. Me first, unapologetically. Ain't
That's
no
a new
shame,
word
ain't
this
no
season.
guilt, ain't no hesitation, ain't no second guessing. Me first. I'm trying to get the
Hello.
big piece of chicken. I'm in line first. I ain't gonna wait.
Not that I'm trying to get the big piece of chicken.
The big piece.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. You know what, Kai, this has been great. Thank you for just taking time out to talk to the women, the viewers on Becoming the Woman of Your Dream podcast. This Let's Talk Mental Health Awareness Month has been phenomenal, like really
Yeah.
phenomenal. It's just, you know what, and I'm proud of myself for continuing because I've been going hardcore by the grace of God
Mm-hmm.
for
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many weeks now, but since March, every week,
Um,
every Wednesday, we've been recording. And the content that's just been developing, the women that I've been encountering with, the comments, the shares, and women look forward to this. I look
yeah,
forward to
yeah,
this because
yeah.
I get to hear your story. I get to hear your background. And
Mm-hmm.
even though I know your story, know your background, but for us to share it publicly with others and for them to be in our space, like this is our space.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
invite you all into our space to let our hair down, to be ourselves, and then also to help you become a better you. So,
Wow.
with that being said, Connie, how can others connect with you online?
So there's a couple different ways. Well, actually, no. There's one way. No, there's a couple different ways. I'm sorry. There's a couple different ways. So we do have yeah, we do have an Instagram. So there's Reinforcing Houston. There's Reinforcing Houston on Instagram, all one word, Reinforcing Houston. There's also another Instagram page that's specifically for mental health counseling. So under Reinforcing Houston, I didn't mention this earlier, Reinforcing Houston actually incorporates several different programs. And one of the programs is the Counseling Center for Families of Color, where specifically we are seeking to serve families of color using therapists of color because representation matters.
Right.
Um, and we want to support the community who are being served in the community of therapists who are being trained and still in school, and there's a culturally competent and safe space for these young therapists to come into and learn how to serve their community. So the Counseling Center for Families of Color, the Instagram is ccfc_Texas. And then, of course, like I said, Reinforcing Houston on Instagram, all one word. And then our website is reinforcinghouston.org.
Awesome, awesome. So you all can connect with Connie online. I'll make sure that her contact information is in the comments. So if you are tuning in, thank you for tuning in. We have made it to our last series. So
Yay,
let's
you did
talk mental
it!
health. Yes. So we will be back online for Becoming the Woman of Your Dream podcast back in August. In August, we will be speaking in regards to Black Business
Oh,
Month, where we will be
yeah.
highlighting women who are Black owned businesses. So I look forward to that. Make sure you all tune in. Follow us on Facebook, Women with Vision and Purpose, Instagram _WWVP. We're on YouTube, Becoming the Woman of Your Dreams. Actually, it's becoming _WWVP. And also, we are having our annual expo. It's scrolling across the screen on the bottom here. October 7th here in Houston, Texas. It's going to be bananas. I cannot wait. You know what? I thought about it today and I just want to cast this
Mhm.
vision out. It takes a confident person in God. And I got this pen. I'm so sorry. It takes a confident person in God to walk into a blank room, an empty canvas, but to see it filled. Like
Yeah.
October 7th is gonna be filled with women in business supporting one another, encouraging
Yeah.
one another, networking, loving on one another, and we're gonna make some money.
I stand in agreement with you. That is going to be it's going to blow your mind, Chiquita. It is going to be bigger than you expected. It is going to be better than you expected. The connections that are going to happen, the support that's going to happen, the
Yes,
profit that's going to happen.
man.
Amen.
I receive it and I look forward to it. And I just look forward for women coming all over just to be
Yeah.
a part of this amazing event. But until next time, see you all later. Have a good night. Connie, thank you again for
Thank you
joining
so
the
much for
podcast for
having me.
tonight.
Thank
Yes,
you.
likewise. And you are welcome back anytime.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
Bye.
Bye.